Welcome to the Medical Terminology Podcast on iTunes U at JCCC. This episode is Chapter 2, Part 2, Histology. The term histology was introduced in the last episode. Do you remember what histology means? Well, histology is the study of tissues. And there are four main types, along with some subtypes, of tissues that we need to know. Let's review those. First of all, what is the type of tissue that forms a protective covering for all of the internal and external surfaces of the body? That's the epithelial tissue, epithelial. What is the type of tissue that functions as a nutrient reserve and also supplies padding and insulation? That's adipose tissue. And what is the type of tissue that has a specialized ability to contract and relax? Well, that's muscle tissue. And which type of tissue has the specialized ability to react to stimuli and to conduct electrical impulses? That's nerve tissue. And which type of epithelial tissue forms the epidermis of the skin and the surface layer of mucous membranes? That's the epithelium, epithelium. What is the other type of epithelial tissue that lines the blood and lymph vessels, body cavities, glands, and organs? That's the endothelium, endothelium. And finally, what is the general category of tissues that support and connect organs and other body tissues? That's the connective tissues. And if you remember from the mapping exercise, the adipose tissue is a type of connective tissue. There's also three other types of connective tissue. What is the type of connective tissue that surrounds various organs and supports both nerve cells and blood vessels? That's the loose connective tissue. Blood and lymph are an example of another type of connective tissue. What do we call blood and lymph? Well, blood and lymph are both liquid connective tissues, and that's easy to remember, I hope, because blood is a liquid. Bone and cartilage are also connective tissues. What type of connective tissues are they? Well, they're the dense connective tissues. Okay, I think that gives us a review of the types of tissues. And now we're going to go on and discuss the pathologies of tissue formation. These are listed in our book on page 36. And oftentimes these definitions can be a little confusing, and I'm going to attempt to clarify them for you, and then we'll do some practice. The first one is anaplasia, anaplasia. Ana means excessive, and plasia means formation. What we're really dealing with is a malignant tumor. With a malignant tumor, you have cells growing in a runaway fashion. They're abnormal, they grow rapidly, too rapidly in fact, so that they endanger the human body. The next one is aplasia. Aplasia. A means absent or without, and again, plasia means formation. In this case, we have the congenital absence of an organ or tissue. It just isn't there. It has not developed. The next one is dysplasia, Dysplasia. Dys means bad, and so this would be a bad or abnormal tissue development. This is just kind of a broad term. Anytime you have tissue that just doesn't develop right. That's different from anaplasia, which is more specific. There we have abnormal development, but it's this kind of runaway cancer development. And the next term is hyperplasia, Hyperplasia. Hyper means too much or excessive, and again, plasia means formation. So here we have another situation where we've got some excessive formation. This is where an organ or a tissue becomes enlarged because there's an abnormal increase in the number of cells. These cells are not malignant, they're not irregular, they're normal cells. It's just there's too many of the cells, and so that causes the organ to become larger. Next term is hypertrophy, Hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is an increase in the size or bulk of an organ. It's not caused because there's a tumor inside there. It's also not caused because we've got too many cells, like in hyperplasia. In this case, we just have an increase in size of the cells that are there, so that the organ or tissue bulks up. So it's important that you're able to keep these straight, the difference between anaplasia, which is a tumor situation, hyperplasia, normal cells, there's just too many of them, and then hypertrophy, where the number of the cells is okay, but their size is too big, so the whole organ bulks up. And finally we have hypoplasia, Hypoplasia, and that is the incomplete development of an organ or tissue. Hypo again meaning deficient, plasia meaning formation. And in this case, we're not saying that it's missing or absent, which is aplasia. We're saying that it's there, but it didn't completely develop. Parts of it are missing, but the organ or tissue is there. There are signs of it. Okay, now we're going to do some practice. I'm going to give you a definition, and you come up with the term. What is the term for the congenital absence of an organ or tissue? That's aplasia. Aplasia. What is the term for abnormal tissue development? That's dysplasia. Dysplasia. What would be the term for the incomplete development of an organ or tissue? That's hypoplasia. Hypoplasia. What would be a term for when we have a change in the structure or orientation of cells, such as a malignant tumor where we have abnormal cells developing? That's anaplasia. Anaplasia. And what is the term for a general increase in the bulk of an organ, not due to tumor formation? It's simply an increase in the size of the cells, but not the number. Well, that's hypertrophy. Hypertrophy. On the other hand, what is the term for the enlargement of an organ or tissue because of an abnormal increase in the number of cells? That's hyperplasia. Hyperplasia. And what is the term for the defective development or congenital absence of an organ or tissue? That's aplasia. Aplasia. Okay, that covers the major terms related to histology. In the next episode, we're going to look at the terms related to glands, which are another building block of the human body. So this ends this episode of the Medical Terminology